What is the marketplace anointing? What does it mean to be anointed? A lot of people hear that word and they immediately think church, preaching, spiritual moments. But what if the anointing isn't limited to a pulpit? What if the anointing shows up in strategy, ideas, leadership, decision-making, execution? What if being anointed doesn't just mean you can preach a message? What if it means you could build a business, solve something, lead something, change something? What if the same God who anoints a preacher anoints a leader, a builder, a strategist, a problem solver? Today, I'm going to define something clearly. What is the marketplace anointing? What is it, and how to recognize it in your own life? You don't want to miss today's episode of the podcast.
Welcome to the Dave Martin Podcast.
I'm Dr. Dave, your success coach, and I'm so excited. I'm working on a brand new book, and you're getting to hear part of it right here today on the marketplace anointing. If we're going to define something, and that's what we're doing today, a lot of people feel, but they haven't been able to explain this. Listen, before I jump into it, make sure you make sure you subscribe. Let's get that out of the way. Share this with someone, maybe someone who has a marketplace anointing, because there's a lot of people walking around right now carrying something. They just haven't identified it yet. It is the anointing. It's the anointing. The word anointing has been misunderstood. For many people, they hear the word anointing and they think things like a powerful church service, strong preaching, an emotional moment. Some churches think that's all anointing is. It's an emotional response. But actually, the anointing is a divine enablement, a supernatural grace from God that gives you the ability to function, to lead, to create. You're anointed to create, to produce beyond your natural capacity. The anointing is God's power on your life to solve problems, to create impact, to carry responsibility in the environment that He's placed you in. The anointing is not just a feeling, it's a function. The anointing is not just about position, it's about empowerment. And the anointing shows up in results, not just in moments. The anointing makes difficult things flow. You may be operating in the anointing when things work in your hands consistently, when you see solutions that other people miss, when you carry clarity into complex situations, when doors open that effort alone can't explain. Little favor anointing. The anointing is not about what you do in a moment. It's about what God does through you consistently, no matter where you are. If God assigned you there, He anointed you for there. Talent can take you far, but anointing can take you further. Talent can open doors, but anointing can keep them open. If you look at Indra Nooyi, she led one of the largest companies in the world. But what made her leadership different was not just intelligence, it was her clarity. She saw ahead. She thought long term. She would make decisions that shaped the future. She shifted strategy toward healthier products before it was mainstream. It was not just intelligence. She had this insight, this understanding. And whether someone calls it that or not, that's what empowerment looks like. When you're anointed, you don't just react to the moment, you see ahead of the moment. Because here's the difference. There are people who are talented but not anointed. They can perform, but they don't carry weight. And then there are people who walk into a room and things shift. Ideas begin to flow. Solutions begin to appear. Talent performs. Listen, anointing produces. Let me break this down so you can recognize it. There's an anointing for wisdom. You see solutions that other people don't see. You understand things quickly. You can navigate complexity. And let me go even deeper. You don't just react, you discern. Oh, that's something I've been praying for so much lately. Discernment. God, give me wisdom. Discern. You can discern things. You walk into confusion, you bring clarity. Wisdom is seeing what other people miss. Joseph carried this. He didn't just interpret a dream, he solved a national crisis. So the anointing of wisdom. How about the anointing for strategy? You don't just work hard, you work intelligently. You see patterns, you build systems, you improve processes. You don't just do tasks, you redesign how things work. Strategy turns effort into results. Then how about the anointing for influence? People listen when you speak, not just because you're loud, but because your words are weighty. Your words carry substance. Your presence carries authority. Influence is not volume, it's weight. How about the anointing for leadership? You step up, even when you're not asked. You take responsibility, you bring direction, you create order in chaos. Leaders don't wait for titles, they respond to need. How about the anointing for wealth creation? I talk about this in my latest book called Creating Your Own Economy. Some people have been anointed to create wealth. You know the people. You may be one of them. Everything's just easy for you. You get into a business and it just prospers. It just does well. When you're anointed to create wealth, you can produce. I always say this: with the anointing of giving becomes the anointing of getting. You have the ability to produce. You can build. You can multiply because you're going to make an impact, not just for yourself, but for others. You see opportunity. You create value. You generate results. Wealth is not just money. It's the ability to produce. That's what Deuteronomy says. It's God who gives you the ability. If you think you did it, verse 17 there says, think again. If you think it's all you, it's God who gives you the ability to produce it. That word ability, that's empowerment. That's anointing. You're anointed. If God gives you ability, then your capacity is not random. And some of you have been downplaying what you carry, minimizing it, overlooking it, treating it like it's ordinary. Why? Because it doesn't look spiritual. Because it doesn't look like a real ministry, a stage. It doesn't look like what you've been taught to recognize as anointing or ministry. So you've been thinking, oh, it's just my personality. Oh, I just have a lot of experience. It's just something I'm good at. No. If you have ideas that work, it's wisdom. It's not random. It's not just random thoughts. It's not just lucky guesses. It's anointing, the ability to see what others don't see and apply what others don't understand. Wisdom is not knowing more, it's seeing clearer. If you solve problems consistently, that's knowledge, not just information, that's application. You don't just recognize issues, you resolve them. You don't just identify gaps, you close them. Knowledge is not what you know, it's what you can do with what you know. If you lead effectively, that's influence, not control, not title, influence. People follow your direction. They trust your decisions. They respond to your leadership, even when you're not the one in charge. Leadership is not given, it's recognized. If you create value, that's stewardship. See, you take what you've been given and you make it even better. You multiply it, you grow it, you expand it, not for attention, but because it's in you to produce. You've been given this ability to value. Creation is evidence of responsibility. Let's go even one step higher. Let's go one level higher, because this is where it shifts. Okay, what you've been calling normal is actually really uncommon. What you've been treating as, oh, it's just me, it's just how it's actually something on you. And when it works consistently, it's not coincidence, it's a calling. Some people try to do what you do and it doesn't work. Some people attempt to lead like you lead and it falls apart. Some people step into situations that you navigate so easily and they struggle with it. Why? Because they don't carry the same thing that you carry. And you've been overlooking it because it just feels natural to you. What's natural to you is not normal for everybody else. I know an incredible business strategist, and they can just see how to transform a business, how to help it grow, and it just comes natural. Doesn't take any effort. It seems normal to them, but what they do is so far from normal. They did this for years for some of the largest multinational companies in the world. And once they recognized that this was an actual gift from God and they could use it to expand his kingdom, they started using it in ministry. And today they help churches grow. They help ministries impact and reach the lost. And it's a God-given gift that they're using for the kingdom, not on a platform. They're never on a platform. They don't have a microphone. But they're using what God gave them. They took responsibility of the gift that God gave them and found a way to use it for his kingdom. And this is where responsibility comes in. Because once you recognize it, you can't ignore it now. Now you can't downplay it. You can't treat it casually because now you understand it. This isn't just ability. This isn't just experience. This is a gift that you've been entrusted with, that's been entrusted to you. What you've been given, you're accountable for. So stop minimizing it. Stop dismissing it. Stop explaining it away. Oh, it's no big deal. Because what you carry is meant to solve problems, to create impact, to lead people. It's not random. Listen, that anointing, the marketplace, and it's evidence. Evident. I know one of the most incredible CEOs who understands it's an anointing to lead. And what he's done and how he's built these companies has been phenomenal. Evidence that something is on his life. What works through you is evident of what's on you. You're not just skilled, you're anointed. You're anointed for business. And when you see it that way, everything changes. Your confidence rises, your responsibility increases, and you stop playing small. Because now you understand. Now I'm not just working. I'm operating under an empowerment, under an ability. And when you know what's on you, you stop doubting what is in you. The anointing is not proven in a moment. It's revealed in results, consistent results, impact, progress, growth. Because what's on your life will eventually show up through your life. The anointing leaves evidence, not just in moments, not just in feelings. Oh man, I felt anointed tonight. No, in results, in impact, and in consistency. Because when something is truly on your life, it shows up through your life. It shows up in how you think, in how you solve problems, in how you carry responsibility, in how you lead. And what's on you will eventually work through you. And some of you right now, you started to recognize something. Even as I'm talking, you're like, man, is that really what I thought? I was just good at this. You've been in rooms and solutions come to you. I remember walking into a room one time and God just gave me the ability to solve the problem. Man, it was like it opened up doors. Your gift makes room for you. It made room. It opened up opportunities. Listen, you've been in situations and people look to you and you faced problems and somehow you know how to navigate them. And for a long time, you thought, it's just me. Listen, I'm telling you, it's not just you. It's something on you. And when it happens consistently, it's not coincidence, it's evidence of the marketplace anointing. I've been carrying something. I didn't realize it. It's insight. You see what others miss. It's leadership. When you step up without being asked, the ability to produce, it's where things grow when they're in your hand. It's not normal. It's not average. It's not random. Average doesn't produce consistent results. It's like everything. That guy has the Midas touch. Everything he touches works. Empowerment does that. And here's where it shifts. The moment you recognize it, you become responsible for it, because what you're aware of, you're accountable for. When I began to recognize on my life, there was something there. Revelation now, see, creates responsibility. Look at Martin Luther King Jr. He wasn't just a preacher. He was a man who had a revelation. He saw injustice, not from a distance. He saw it up close, personally, deeply, convictingly. And once he saw it, he couldn't unsee it. And that's how revelation works. It changes how you think. It shifts what you tolerate. It redefines what you're willing to accept. Here's the key. That revelation created responsibility. Now, he could have stayed in the pulpit. He could have preached safe, nice messages. He could have avoided all the conflict. He could have avoided the conflict. But once he saw the injustice, silence was no longer an option. Revelation removes the luxury, unfortunately, of staying comfortable. So he had to step into it, not because it was easy, because it was necessary. It came with pressure, opposition, criticism, and a lot of risk. We saw he lost his life, but he kept moving. Why? Because when you truly see something, you become accountable for it. What you're aware of, you're responsible for. And some of you, that's exactly where you are right now. You see something. You recognize something. I carry something more. And now you feel that tension, the pull, the weight. That's not pressure to avoid. That is responsibility to embrace. Because once you know, you can't unknow. Once you see, you can't unsee. What God reveals to you, he expects you to respond to. You can't downplay it. You can't ignore it. You can't treat it casually, because now you understand this is not just a skill. It's not just an experience. This is an anointing. It's an empowerment. And when you see it that way, everything changes. Now you have to develop it intentionally. Now you have to steward it seriously. Now you got to show up differently. What you honor will grow, because that anointing doesn't just make you capable, it makes you responsible. Responsible for how you build, responsible for how you influence, responsible for how you lead. And some of you, you've been asking God for more, but while minimizing what he's already given you, what you already carry. I'm telling you, I want to see this marketplace anointing released in your life. You don't need more. You need to recognize what you already have. So don't dismiss it. Quit downplaying it. Quit overlooking it. There's something on your life, and it's meant to impact people, not just you. It's time. It's time to that empowerment. It's not just you. But it's time for you to start walking in it, because you're anointed. You're anointed to create. You're anointed to lead. You're anointed to build. You're anointed to influence. You're anointed, not someday, right now. I want to help you as we continue over the next few weeks to understand this anointing. I'm telling you, if you'll stick with me, it's going to help you. So make sure you subscribe to this. Make sure you like, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Tell me what you got out of today. Tell me what you heard out of today, and let's share this and let some other people make a difference. Now, let's make a declaration together. Say it with me. Say, I'm anointed to create, lead, and influence. Come on, say it with me again. Say, I'm anointed to create, to lead, and to influence. All right. Well, next episode, you're going to love the next one. We're going to get into some different anointings we see in the Bible. These people were not preachers. We thought they were preachers. No, they're not. Joseph, we're going to talk about the Joseph anointing and how God uses people to shape systems and to shape economies. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it. So I will see you next time right here on the Dave Martin Podcast.